Welcome to Talking Clean, the podcast where we will break down clean energy and healthy living into simple, everyday habits that can save you money and protect our community. I'm your host, Dr. Mary House, and I want to share with you why this is so important to me. Being raised in a poor neighborhood in Detroit, where resources and information about creating a healthier and cleaner place to live, it was not a conversation. We were just concentrating on surviving, just like some of you. So as I became an adult, my curiosity began to explore the many concerns of why things weren't like they should be. So in this journey, I began to find out what was not happening in underserved communities of color all across America as it pertains to this topic. And I discovered we just weren't exposed to nor given the resources and information needed to create a healthier and cleaner home. Now, fast forward, I knew I had to be a voice crying in the wilderness for people who looked like me. And out of this cry, this podcast was birthed. And together, we're going to explore practical tips, local resources, and inspiring stories that empower our families and communities to live cleaner, greener, and healthier lives. So whether you're looking to cut down your utility bills or make a difference in your neighborhood, you are in the right place. We want to welcome you here to our podcast. We have Cherie Mantanona from the Workforce Connection. She is the Strategic Initiatives Manager. And in part one, we talked about job creation and opportunities in the clean energy phase. But I want to give you some information about clean energy. It's lowering your utility bills, it's strengthening reliability, and driving economic development in every corner of our state. See, these investments are positioning Nevada as a hub for innovation, manufacturing, and the next generation of technology. And I want you all to hear this. See, but this trajectory is at risk. You know why? Because the federal fundings were cut from the one big beautiful bill. Do y'all remember that? And the Department of Energy, as you know, took the clean energy programs and stalled the momentum for this year. These cuts threatened future clean energy investments, job creation, workforce training expansions, local economic development in both urban and rural communities. Nevada had a strong path, but these cuts have been jeopardized and the economic gains from it. And the leadership position in our state, we worked so hard to build this. So, Cherie, from your perspective, what makes clean energy just not an environmental issue, but an economic opportunity for Nevadan families?
Well, we're talking about jobs, and we have a saying at Workforce Connections, workforce development is economic development. So when you think about bringing in job diversity, that means that you have resilience in your community. So say tourism kind of goes on a downswing, you're not laying off your entire community because everybody's working in hospitality.
Right.
You have to have that diversity in jobs. There also gives us an opportunity for economic multipliers. When you have people that are working in jobs that are making a decent living, they're going to spend money because they can, right? Which supports our small businesses, our retail shops, our food and beverage, so everybody wins together. So when we're thinking about new emerging sectors or sectors that offer diversity to our community, we're talking about supporting all of the other businesses that on a day-to-day basis you don't think about when you go in for a bagel or a donut on your way to a meeting or your way to work. All of that's reciprocal. So, yeah.
And you know what I was thinking was, we just had a governmental shutdown, and so we had these workers who were working for nothing, And some of them stayed, and then some of them tried to find other jobs. You know, I do know that you have an ability to what they call retrain for another career. Can you speak on how does a person shift from something they've been doing for so long, but it phased out, okay, or there's no security in that anymore? What shifts in the clean energy spectrum, because I know this is like a new area, even though we talked about clean energy is not a new topic, but it's something that's how we redefine things. What's available for a person who would like to retrain?
So I think there's two components. If you're interested in something like that, and you were to go into one of the employee ND hubs and start talking with a career coach, and you're like, I lost my job, or I quit my job, I'm ready for a change. There's two components to that. What do you want to do? And what do you have the capacity to do? And that does...
This is something, you know what, that is huge.
Yeah.
Because people want, you know what, I want to be a millionaire, but do you have the capacity to be one? You know? You know, because this is what we're having a conversation, and so when people understand what does that mean when you say, you know, really, I want to do this, but my capacity doesn't allow me to do that. Is that what a trainer does, or a job specialist would do?
A career coach.
A career coach. That's the key word.
But it's not always on the negative. It could be sometimes you find that you're really skilled in a specific area that you never thought about, and that career coach can take those aptitudes and go, you know what, you're really good at schematics. You're really good at drawings. Have you ever considered being an electrician? Which is something that happened to me personally. One long time ago, I went and took the ASVAB. I scored the highest in electronics. I had no interest or business in electronics, but it was something that once I took that test, it kind of made me think about what other careers I could find interesting, because there was some skill that came sort of naturally to me that I never would have put in my, you know, it never would have been part of my vernacular. So those career coaches are taking not only the, you know, what do we have available in our city, what's about to happen. You know, we've got a bunch of businesses that are moving here, that we have job opportunities opening up in all of these different spaces. But you have somebody who says, you know, I really like being creative. I don't know what that means.
Right.
Well, we'll match that with sort of where your skill set is, what your background is, what maybe some of your transitional skills are from your previous job, and they might go, you know what, you might be really good at being an event planner, or going into film, or, you know, working in, so it sometimes it takes other people to see what you can't see for yourself.
You know what what just triggered in my mind was when you talk about what's your niche or what's your gift, because I think everybody has a gift, and the question is, does that gift translate into economics? Ooh, girl, that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother podcast. Okay, that's an episode by itself. However, I remember a story of a young lady out of Chicago whose grandmother made syrup, and she had this syrup recipe, you know, kind of was hustling in it, you know, kind of making a little bit, but she had a career because she went to school for this, and they laid her off. So what she did was she started saying, maybe I need to look at this maple syrup thing. And long and short, she ended up pouring herself as an entrepreneur, because that's what she was good. She had a recipe, but she didn't know what to do with it. And she ended up in stores all across America. She ended up partnering with A.d.Guy waffle.
Wow.
And isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
And so sometimes people can come in and a career coach can say, okay, yes, let's do an assessment, and you find out you do a testing, but really you have a gift and you have something. So does the Workforce Connection, and I don't know if they do or not, you can help me with that, is train individuals who are entrepreneurs, who have an entrepreneur spirit to do something, but they don't know the business side. You know, I have something, but there's the business that we don't know how to take care of. is that something Workforce Connection can guide them through? Can you tell me about that?
So we do have, within our employee and hubs, we have the business hubs. And that's specifically for employers, whether that's, a sole proprietor, whether that's a company that has 10 employees, or, sorry, I'm trying to,
sorry.
But, and sometimes that can be big companies that are moving in from out of state. And so our role is to show them, what does Nevada have as a resource, whether you're small business or large business. Does that mean maybe you've hired somebody to work at the cash register for your restaurant, but you really want them to move into a manager position, but they need training to do that, and so we help with grants to help support that.
Oh, great.
Maybe that's partnering with some of our other, our partner groups like SBA, saying, hey, maybe we could take a supplier course that will sort of upgrade your capacity to lead or file taxes or, whatever those questions are. So that business hub serves as a central resource to sort of point the business owner in the direction no matter what level they're at.
And I want you all to hear this, because some of you all have gifts, or you have an idea, or you have a recipe. It could be something just like the young lady with the recipe. Ended up being a multimillionaire because she got laid off. And she used what was in her hand. And so why don't you just try something? But it has to start with, do you even know how to run a business? I mean, yes, you have a gift, but do you know how to run one? They have a business hub that can tell you all of that. Now, so what are some of the skills or certifications most in demand right now for clean energy? Because let me just say this. Sometimes you have to occupy until you get it, because, you need some funds. So you got to get a job. What's the demand? You can want a job and there's no employment there. So what demands are there?
Well, some of the very basic levels, and I'm bringing this up specifically because these are conversations I'm having with employers, right?
Wow.
So OSHA 10 and OSHA 30 are like super quick and easy barriers to entry that you can just kind of pop in and say, I have this. That might put you a leg up above somebody else. But skill sets, simply being able to measure, using a tape measure, depending on where you're working, sometimes understanding going from metrics to standards and converting those things. And when we're thinking about what sort of careers are available in the clean space, we're talking about people who are going to be using those numbers. They're going to be doing measurements. They're going to be, so some of those things, if you feel like that's maybe not your strongest suit, those are things that you can go on YouTube and start learning yourself.
Yes.
You can take a quick class at a community college or get a tutor to sort of get you up to pace on that. But when we start going into a little bit more of the trade, the not entry level, sort of that mid level, the electricians are probably one of the higher ones, the higher in demand. Sometimes that could be HVAC is another one, the certifications for HVAC. And like Dr. House, like you said earlier, sometimes it's not new technology. We're talking about upgrading buildings that are old.
Yes.
So it's not just building something new. It's, we look around and there are companies in the green space that are working on those upgrades. So that's when we go back to the nitty gritty of like electric work, HVAC work. Sometimes that'll be a little bit of engineering. Architecture is another one. Clean architecture, right? So you've got your LEED certifications, your stars. So and sometimes it could be something as simple as looking at sort of maybe you want to go into mining and help support on that side of it. There's technologies and things that have to be created in order for the clean technology industry to thrive. So.
And something I just thought about when we talk about things that are just been around, when we talk about clean energy jobs, my brother-in-law has a construction company, but he also got certified to do weatherization, so to seal windows and doors, and there's a way to do that, to go in and be a technician to do what they call an in-home energy audit. And so are there classes that teach you how to become a home energy audit? Because that's on the rise right now. As people are, I know NV Energy hires them. I think Help of Southern Nevada hires home energy audits because they pay for the weatherization part, but you need to have that home energy audit. Do you guys have classes or referrals for that?
So one of the things, I don't know specifically about our training partners, right? So we could look at, there's a state registry, it's called the ETPL.
Okay, say that real slow in that camera.
ETPL, so it's the Eligible Training Provider List, and that's a state-wide list, and those are trainers who span everything from radiology to maybe what you were just talking about with the certification. You can look at that database and see what trainings are available. Now, if you are going to an Employ NV hub and say you are eligible to receive certain federal funds, right? Maybe you are in a certain income bracket. Those training providers are the ones that those supportive services can help pay for those trainings specifically. So the curriculum has been vetted. There's a lot of UNLV, Nevada State University, CSN courses there. They're not all degree programs. Some of them are short-term certifications. And then there's other training providers that exist in everything from welding to just OSHA certification.
Oh, awesome. So as we head into, or we're in this new year, what exciting initiatives should we watch for in 2026 around green job growth and the workforce development?
Sorry, listen.
Listen, I'm listening, girl. Listen, Linda.
It's gonna make sense. Apprenticeships.
Wow.
So the one thing that we're definitely seeing cumulatively come together from the federal, the state side, the employers, there's a lot of work being done on apprenticeship pipelines. Traditionally, they've been difficult to get into. There's been barriers for employers to set up apprenticeship programs within their employment, within their own house, right? And then the access for what types of careers or what types of training, those programs may not have existed in the apprenticeship model before. So that is exciting because it supports things like manufacturing, it supports things like healthcare, it supports things like clean energy, and those specific industries are probably going to benefit the most from the work that's being done with everybody in the state and the employers and the community. But then we're also going to see, what else comes of some of these training initiatives. The more employers that we have that are interested in coming here might indicate to our partner system that we need to start talking about what courses have to be developed locally, so that way there's a ready workforce to go to employ to be working in those jobs. So every time we have an employer visit us, every time we have an employer expand, maybe somebody wants to move their headquarters from California to Nevada, we're talking about what needs to be done in these next couple of years in order to make that happen on both sides.
So you heard it from Cherie at Workforce Connections, apprenticeship. It's really easy to do. So just find a hub, a Workforce Connection hub. You guys are so resourceful. Let me tell you, get on your phone. Go on the Safari or the Chrome or whatever your web, internet you're using, browser, and look up Workforce Connection in Nevada and where their hubs are at. And the first step, the call to action is get in an apprenticeship program if you're not in one and you're looking for employment, because you want to make sure you have long-term employment. That's going to be my call to action for you. Cherie, thank you so much for taking out the time to just enlighten us and educate us on what the Workforce Connection do, because you guys are so vital to when it comes to employment and the supportive services that we have. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for tuning in and keep, making sure that you tune into every episode. Look at it again and again and again and share it with a friend. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Talking Clean with Dr. Mary House. Remember, every small step towards cleaner living adds up to a big difference for your home, your wallet, and our community. So if you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, share this episode with a friend, and connect with us online for more clean energy resources. Just remember to think green and keep talking clean.